Okay, so today is part 2 of multiplying mixed numbers. Yesterday's part 1, or step 1, was to change a mixed number, like 1 and 1/4, into an mixed number. 4 times 1 is 4. We multiply the denominator times the whole number, then add that product to the numerator. So in this case, 1 and 1/4 is our mixed number, and our improper fraction is 5/4. So that's the first step. Today, we're not going to do much except for the second step. And the second step is going to be asking you to use a strategy that we had introduced a few weeks ago, which is why it's so important that you watch each video. So if you didn't do all of the math and you're starting with this one, go back and finish the other ones. So step 2 in multiplying mixed numbers is to cross-simplify. Today, all you're going to do is cross-simplify. Cross-simplify and rewrite. Now, you already know that I like you to be very neat when you're doing math, because math, not only does it depend on organization, but it depends on neatness, which is why I'm asking you to rewrite several times. So let's see what you're going to do today. So let's pretend, let me get a random problem, like 3 and 1/7. So you're basically going to do the same problems all over again. So before you start complaining, this is very important because this is extra practice, correct? Correct. Okay, thank you. Now, our first step is to change the mixed number into an improper fraction. When I do so, 3 and 1/7 will turn into 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22. I get 22/7. And if you hear background noises, that's my sister. She's cleaning. Anyway, 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So I change that into 5/4. And then my second step was to cross-simplify. Now, these are really big numbers, and I'm lazy. I'll be honest with you. And I don't want to do more work than I have to. So I'm going to be simplifying, or in this case, cross-simplifying, to make my numbers smaller. Now, which numbers? Well, the numbers that represent the numerator and the denominator. So let's look at 7/5. Do they have any factor in common besides 1? They don't. So I leave them alone. 4 and 22 don't have a factor in common that I know of off the bat. But I know, based on my divisibility rules, that 22 and 4 have the number 2 in common, because 22 and 4 are even numbers. Therefore, 4 divided by 2 is 2. 22 divided by 2 is 11. And I stop here. That's all you're doing. Now, I know I have the whiteboard and you don't, so I'm going to show you what it's going to look like on a piece of paper using the whiteboard. Let's pretend I am doing 1 and 1/8 times 3 and 1/3. First step is to change the mixed numbers into improper fractions. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9, so that turns into 9/8. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, 10/3. I'm going to cross-simplify. I can start anywhere. I can start with 9 or 3, or I can start with 10 and 8. So let's start with 9 and 3. I already know they have the 3 in common. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 8 and 10 don't have a factor in common right off the bat. However, I know that both, based on my divisibility rules, 8 and 10 are even numbers. Therefore, I simplify 8 by dividing it by 2, which is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So now I have these new numbers, and I'm going to rewrite. to make it easier on myself. And when I rewrite, and I'll show you in a minute or in a few seconds, I get 3 over 4 times 5 over 1. So I was able to simplify the problem and make it smaller. Okay, that's all you're doing today. You're basically going to cross simplify because that is step number 2. And I'm trying to help you get into this routine because in middle school and in 6th grade, you're going to be needing to cross simplify. And I don't want you to be surprised next school year when, you know, they're like, surprise, you have to cross simplify. So let's do one more example. So pay close attention, okay? So I have 7.5 times 2 and 3 over 4. First step is to change the mixed number into an improper fraction. 7 times 2 is 14 plus 1 is 15. I think we all have this down. All this step down. 15 over 2 times 4 times 2 is 8 plus 3 is 11, I hope. My sister says yes, so hopefully it is. And now I'm going to cross simplify. Now, can I cross simplify here? I can't because the 2 and 11, they don't have any factors in common besides 1. 15 and 4, they don't have another factor in common besides 1. So I leave it as is. I'll just do one more. I know you guys miss my voice and making me laugh. So I'll do one more for you. Last one. I think this one's it. And if I already did this, I'm sorry, but I don't think I've done this. 1 1/3 times 2 and 1 over 6. My first step is to change the mixed number. This is a mixed number, remember? Because there's a whole number and a fraction. Into an improper fraction. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. I get 4 over 3. 4 over 3. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 13 over 6. My second step is to cross simplify. So I'm going to cross simplify. 3 and 13 share no common factors except 1. So I'm going to leave it as is. 4 and 6 share common factors. 4 and 6 are even numbers, therefore they're divisible by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And if you recall, the second part of step 2 was to rewrite. So that's what I'm going to do. This is my headphone box. That's what I'm using to record this, so don't make fun of me. 2/3 times 13 over 3. And that's all that you will be doing today. You will be doing step number 2, which is to cross, simplify, and rewrite. Okay? Very easy. So first, you rewrite the mixed number into an improper fraction. Then you will cross, simplify, and then rewrite.